the usual rhetorics. You are supposed to rely on some facts. Then a gentleman who I met during the orientation approached me, though we have had some few times at the finance committee where both of us were assigned. Little did I know that he had spotted something in me, my uncle. He prepared my notes for me, showed me how to debate, the issues to point out. And that evening was the beginning of Afenyo-Markin. Beyond innovation, you must demand accountability and good governance. Do not allow political leaders to make promises without delivering results. Hold us accountable at every round. 10. If a policy is announced to create jobs or improve education, follow up and insist on transparency. Thomas Sankara reminded us that you cannot carry out fundamental changes without a certain amount of quote madness, remaining dependent on exporting raw cocoa and gold. The future lies in technology, digital creativity, manufacturing, and adding value to our resources. I urge you to be curious, to learn coding, to start businesses, to explore the arts and sciences. You should seek new solutions for our problems. The government must do its part by supporting innovation initiatives like USTART for young entrepreneurs and continuing investment in the STEM education. But innovation ultimately thrives. Seeing that overseeing mass dismissals in the public sector has also created a problem for our country. Like I said, we do not need to come into office to create problems merely because the government we inherited has done something. Thousands of young people who were employed have been sent home because of partisan considerations. We don't need this as a people. At a time when youth unemployment is already a crisis, government should be creating jobs and expanding opportunities. Instead, it is shrinking the space for young people. We in the NPP believe that good policies must be strengthened instead of being abandoned. Whether it is industrialization through 1D, 1F, or public sector placement, the goal should be continuity and expansion. It's the reason why I say I am optimistic.
For everything you've done for us, Father, as we've gathered here to come and listen to everything what God is going to happen here, we pray you give us the retentive memory and then help us so that whenever we hear, we'll be able to put it into practice. There's and many other blessings we ask you, Jesus Christ, the Son of our Lord.
Of the school, and right after the anthem of the school, the next in line will follow. Please, shall we upright them whilst they play the anthem of UPSA.
very simple. We are expecting today that he comes and inspire us so that we, with a thought-provoking information, so that we don't leave here empty. We expect that he, and then of course he's going to let us know that the generation, the power lies within us, that we are supposed to redefine it. We don't just dream big, but we should disrupt the status quo, which is the existing status quo that we have. He's also going to let us know that the world needs us as youth of this country, and we are unique in our own perspective. We should not be afraid to challenge the norm. Okay, as you can see, the man in question here that we have invited, when he speaks on the floor of Parliament, so you shouldn't take that out of this thing. He's also going to let us also understand that we have all what it takes as far as innovations is concerned, and then we should often ask the question, why and the what. So basically, main teething issues that we expect for our great personality among us here, Hon.Afenyo-Markin, I might say that myself as a chair for this occasion, from distance, I admire you, and the main reason why I admire you is that as I follow you on social media, on your TikTok page, I always see that anytime, any day, you are in worship. So once again, let's give hand of applause for our dear father, Hon.Afenyo-Markin. Thank you for being our host. Thank you. The leader is in our midst. We are all expecting that he gives us a thought-provoking lecture, and that is why we are here, so as we will be inspired beyond reasonable doubt. Without much ado, with all due respect, I invite to the podium minority leader, Nana Hon.Afenyo-Markin. Put a hand up. Put it better. Thank you.
Please be seated. Thank you. Chairman of this auspicious occasion, respected professors of this university, leadership of Institute of Economic Research and Public Policy, my respected colleague in leadership, Dr. Honorable Ahmed Shaib, MP for Wage and second deputy minority whip, my own mentor, father, brother, and senior former MP for New South, Dr. Mark Esebeyewa, President of the Leadership of Students, here present, and his executives. Ladies and gentlemen, in this auspicious forum, students, good afternoon. Indeed, it is a distinct honor to be part of today's program. I'm happy to be here and proud to be here. It is my first since I became the minority leader. So I've been invited to address you on this important subject matter, empowering the next generation for leadership and nation building. But let me set off with one advice. In the constituency, I didn't know the chief whip has scheduled me to speak. Then I got a call from the chief whip, that I needed to be in the parliament. So I got to parliament, and here was I didn't know where to start from, because if it's a debate, it is not just the usual rhetorics. You are supposed to rely on some facts. Then a gentleman who I met during the orientation approached me, though we have had some few times at the finance committee where both of us were assigned. Little did I know that he has spotted something in me my own colleague. He prepared my notes for me, showed me how to debate, the issues to point out. And that evening was the beginning of Afenyo-Markin. And I'm humbled that today, when he heard of this program, he said to me that, Kwamina, I'll go with you. Please give it up for Dr. Markin. He's a PhD monetary economist. I've not met a gentleman as selfless as him, who believe in the collective success. This man is a professor to many MPs. He will teach you. He wouldn't look for his own success. His joy is the success of his colleagues. And I stand here as his proxy. But for him, I don't think I would have succeeded in Parliament. I share this with you because oftentimes, as young leaders, you think that the fall of your colleague is the beginning of your rise. No, it is not the case. Be able to share when you have to share. And see through the success of somebody. If you spot a talent, harness that talent. And you never know, in that will be the beginning of your own rise. So take this as a food for thought. As I always say, I forever cherish our relationship. Today, as I said, I'm filled with hope. Hope because in the eyes of all of you here seated, I see Ghana's future. Bright, bold, and determined. Today, at this gathering, is about planting seeds of courage and responsibility in each and every one of you. We are here to launch a youth platform, a young common forum that transcends partisanship, yet remains passionate about Ghana's progress. In the 30s and 40s, got his colleagues together to form the UGCC, and he led the charge towards independence. Of course, in later years, we found Jerry Rawlings, a young, ambitious firebrand who wanted a transformation for his nation. We know of J. Ufo. Professor Busia made him a deputy foreign minister. In his late 20s, he eventually rose to become a deputy minority leader in the 79 Parliament and in the 4th Republican administration we had, the constitutional reform we had to usher us into the 4th Republic. He became the 2nd president after Jerry Rawlings. So there is every hope that when we invest in the youth, indeed, the country's energies are redefined for a better tomorrow. Indeed, they remind us that the youth are the leaders of today and not tomorrow. Each of these stories, including Ghana's, tells a truth. Young people with vision and courage can ignite national transformation. They took up the torch in their time. Now it's your time to carry it forward. Few years ago, I was a student like you, ambitious. In school, I listened to J.H. Mensah in Parliament as the then minority leader. Today, J.H. Mensah is no more. It is my turn to make a difference. Tomorrow will be your turn. Mr. Chairman, colleagues in leadership, students, the question then is, what is leadership? I dare say that leadership is about action and the impact you make. You do not need to be president or CEO to lead. True leadership is choosing honesty when lies are easier, choosing hard work when shortcuts are available, and daring to dream when others settle for mediocrity. To quote Mahatma Gandhi, The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Of course, in agreeing with Gandhi, I submit that leadership is fundamentally an act of service. If Ghana is to rise, it will not be because of one president, the parliament, or one policy. It will be because young people choose to rise to the occasion. It will be because you decide to serve a cause greater than yourselves. A degree or a job title is admirable, but character and integrity and service are what truly build a nation. Every time you choose accountability and service over corruption, unity over division, and compassion over cynicism, you are exercising leadership that strengthens Ghana's foundation. In our politics today, we often see leaders obsessed with unyielding desire to persecute political opponents. But you can change that. You can insist that leadership should be defined by principles and results. Our nation needs a generation of leaders who measure their impact by what they do. I assure you, no amount of laws or policies can uplift Ghana unless we first have leaders that have character at every level of society. And that starts with each one of you in your lecture halls. At this Young Commons Forum, I shall submit the following 3 action plans for empowering yourselves as leaders and nation builders. I strongly recommend to you to embrace innovation and entrepreneurship. Ghana cannot compete in the 21st century by remaining dependent on exporting raw cocoa and gold. The future lies in technology, digital creativity, manufacturing, and adding value to our resources. I urge you to be curious, to learn coding, to start businesses, to explore the arts and sciences. You should seek new solutions for our problems. The government must do its part by supporting innovation initiatives like USTART for young entrepreneurs and continuing investment in the STEM education. But innovation ultimately thrives from the bold ideas of you, the youth. The world is fast-paced. No one is waiting for you. You need to take the initiative and do better. Beyond innovation, you must demand accountability and good governance. Do not allow political leaders to make promises without delivering results. Hold us accountable at every round. 10. If a policy is announced to create jobs or improve education, follow up and insist on transparency. Thomas Sankara reminded us that you cannot carry out fundamental changes without a certain amount of, quote, madness. That madness means non-conformity, the courage to question old ways and demand new standards. You should attend community meetings, use social media responsibly to amplify issues, and vote with both your conscience and your critical thinking. We need young Ghanaians to push all leaders to be honest stewards of the nation's trust. And third, alongside innovation and accountability, there must be a strong sense of community. In pursuing personal success, remember to support your peers, as I earlier mentioned. Mentor those younger ones that you know need help. Volunteer in the causes that strengthen your community. A prestigious degree or well-paying job is commendable, but legacy of positive impact is far greater. Accept national service postings into rural communities and embrace them wholeheartedly. See it as your opportunity to touch lives, to share knowledge, and to support those at the lowest ebb of fortune's wheel. Measure success, but by the impact you make in your own community. Whether it's launching a neighborhood cleanup, or teaching kids to read, or innovating solutions for local farmers, find ways to serve. By building strong communities, you fortify the very fabric of our nation. As young leaders, and even as you climb the ladder of success, you would be back and help others if you begin now. This ethos of mutual support and unity is what will keep the touch of nation building burning brightly through our generation and beyond. And let me share with you, in empowering individuals and communities to prosper through their own efforts and freedoms. The party believes in freedom, liberty, and the rule of law. We believe in unleashing the genius of the Ghanaian, not suppressing it. So push boundaries, hold us accountable, and build bonds with one another. That is how you claim ownership of Ghana's story. I repeat, build bonds with one another. This is how you claim ownership of Ghana's story. It is not your individual efforts. The time to build bonds and navigate your way for your future is now. You alone cannot make it. Don't let anyone deceive you. My dear students, I shall now address the political dimension openly of my submission. Every political party speaks of empowering youth, but action speaks louder than words. I want to remind you that the policies we implement today will decide whether your generation succeeds or struggles. It is therefore important to consider the track record and vision of your political leaders. For the purposes of today's submission, I shall rely on the last 8 years when Hon.Afenyo-Markin led the NPP government into undertaking certain bold initiatives centered on youth development in spite of the challenges it faced. When tens of thousands of qualified students were left out yearly because of school fees, the difference is night and day. Education is a great equalizer, and we chose to act. Jobs and industrialization. Under the 1D1F, the Akufo-Addo government recognized that to solve youth unemployment, we needed jobs closer to where people live and create opportunity for the private sector. There are many youths who carry their CVs to their political leaders in search for jobs in the public sector. The public sector alone cannot take all of you. There was therefore the need to create a space at the private sector level. And the only way was to introduce incentives, which was captioned as 1D1F. Indeed, this allowed for factories to be established across our country. That by mid-2024, 321 factories have been supported in 142 districts, creating about 170,000 jobs for Ghanaians, many of them young people. These were real jobs that were created in manufacturing, in agro, and in the agro-business. Yet today, that hope is no more. Unfortunately, today's government has cancelled the 1D1F program, and it is replacing it with an untested 24-hour economy. I am, however, optimistic that with time, the government will be able to realize its vision under this 24-hour economy to create jobs for the people. We are with them. However, I believe that the overseen mass dismissals in the public sector has also created a problem for our country. Like I said, we do not need to come into office to create problems merely because the government we inherited has done something. Thousands of young people who were employed have been sent home because of partisan considerations. We don't need this as a people. At a time when youth unemployment is already a crisis, government should be creating jobs and expanding opportunities. Instead, it is shrinking the space for young people. We in the NPP believe that good policies must be strengthened instead of being abandoned. Whether it is industrialization through 1D1F or public sector placement, the goal should be continuity and expansion. It's the reason why I say I am optimistic in respect of the 24-hour economy policy.